What's up everyone, N here, and today I am super happy to show you guys my Medicham deck profile. Though this was originally going to be Primal Fish's turn for Deck Tech Thursday, I just want to wait until I made that deck absolutely perfect before I show it to you guys. And not to mention all the Regirocks we got from Mega Mailbox Mania Monday that just passed by really helped us get more Regirocks, so I decided since I'm still working on a couple things with the Primal Kyogre deck, why not show you guys the Medicham deck I've also been working on. And it's very, very powerful, especially with all the new stuff we got. And I think you guys are really going to like it. So, going to start off here with 3 copies of Meditite. Just again to the Medicham, nothing really special there. Now we get into Medicham, the one I literally just said. So, it's not an old card, but it's been around for at least a year. Coming out in Primal Clash. 90 HP Stage 1 Pokemon. At first glance, doesn't look like anything too special. But, don't let looks deceive you. First of all, it's got the Omega Barrage ability, ancient trait, I almost said ability, I don't know why, which lets you attack twice. And the main attack here is going to be Yoga Kick. For 30 and 2 fighting, 2 fighting energy, it does 30 and it does not go through weakness and resistance is not applied. Which again, first glance does not look like very much, but remember you can attack twice, so it's 60 base, not to mention all the other ways you have to boost up your damage. Fighting energies, strong energies, Muscle Band, Fighting Stadium, and now Regirock. I tell you, when I tested this on average, I was hitting 200 total with this guy. Knocking out well almost anything, so definitely a powerful one to have. And definitely much faster to set up, which I'm going to get into. Also, another funny Pokemon I run is going to be 2 copies of Lucario EX. Now, while Medicham is the main focus of the deck, you don't exactly want to be starting off with Meditites. And Lucario is definitely a Pokemon in there to start with. Not to mention its Corkscrew Smash attack to draw 6 is amazing. But Greninja is very much a thing. And let me tell you something, Lucario is amazing against Greninja. Mainly because of Missile Jab. 30 and does not have resistance damage applied to it. But with it boosted up enough, you could be donking the Froakies they have on their bench before they can set up. So it's really, really useful to have in the deck. Not to mention, it's almost like a secondary attacker to Medicham. Just even without the drawing with the Corkscrew Smash, he's still very powerful in general. Next up, I'm going to be running 2 copies of Carbink. Now I know Carbink has been very, very good, and I know some people want to run the other Carbink, which is the one that protects your basic energy, which normally that would be perfectly fine. I don't have anything against that Carbink whatsoever. But the thing is, it only works for basic Pokemon, and this is mainly an evolution deck. So that's really the only reason I don't run that other Carbink. I just keep the 2 Safeguard in here. But again, not demoting the other Carbink whatsoever because it is good, just not for an evolution deck. And just having Safeguard in general, even though it's not a complete EX format anymore, there's still a good amount of EX decks. And it's definitely good to stall your opponent for a bit. And the real reason I run the Carbink is for Carbink Break. Now this is probably one of the best things that could ever have happened to fighting. Let me show you guys. I'm pretty sure you all saw this last week, Professor K, but I'll give you all a refresher in case you haven't. It's 110 break Pokemon that evolves right from a basic, so it does not take long to get out whatsoever. And it's got the attack Diamond Gift. 20 damage, and it attaches 2 energy cards from your discard to one of your fighting Pokemon. So it can be any energy whatsoever. Basic, strong energy, double colorless, any energy. And it's to any Pokemon. It does not have to be on the bench. You can attach it to Carbink itself if need be. So again, probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to fighting types, and it's just amazing overall. Helps you get up a Medicham setup turn 1 or Lucario turn 1, whichever one you need to attack with. And also I run 3 copies of Regirock. Now this is another amazing thing that could have happened to the fighting fighting types. Because with everything including Muscle Bands, Strong Energy, Fighting Stadium, and now Regirock, you're not going to be hitting this all the time, but more often than you would think, I have been hitting for 240 damage in total because of the Regirocks boosting it up. So definitely amazing in the deck. Just amazing in general. And guys, guess what? That is it for fighting Pokemon. No SHAYMIN in this deck whatsoever. Yes, yes, yes. No thanks are necessary. But the main reason Shaymin's not in this deck is because Medicham decks in particular are more search-based decks than you know, draw decks that you want to draw to your deck. Not to mention, I feel Lucario does more than a good enough job with that. Now, I know Professor K said in the past that Shaymin is really needed in most decks, which I'm not demoting that because he is correct. That Shaymin really is needed to make almost any deck viable, but Medicham is just that rare exception where it does not really profit much from Shaymin because everything's just search, not draw. So I figured you guys would like decks. I know a couple of you were wishing we would make a deck without Shaymin. So there you go. This should make you much more happier now. And now into the supporters. Going to be running 4 copies of Professor Sycamore. Obvious reasons. Just card your hand, get a fresh 7. One of the best supporters we got. And thank Primal Fish. For the second supporter, we finally have N back in the format. I was getting really sick of these other garbage draw supporters we had, but now we don't gotta worry about them. So yep, 3 copies of N. Amazing. Next up is going to be 3 copies of Karina. Because as I just said, this is mainly a search deck, not really so much that's going to benefit from heavy draws. And what Karina does, for those who don't know, lets you get out a fighting Pokemon and a tool, not a tool, an item card, which could be a tool, and put them all into your hand. So very, very useful there. And 1 copy of Lysander just to get out one of your opponent's active. And that is it for the supporter line. Now, I know some people might ask why I'm not running Hex Maniac in here, which normally that would be a good one, except the fact how heavily on abilities that relies on, well, not just Regirock, but even Carbink too. So, again, if you want to run Hex Maniac in a deck, I'm not saying it's bad whatsoever. It's just I personally don't want to risk it, but that is completely up to you as the trainer. And for our items, going to start off here with 4 VS Seeker. Obvious reasons, probably one of the best items we have right now. Just get a supporter from your discard back into your hand. Now, there is no way you could do a deck without these cards right here. Now, I know these are kind of pricey for uncommons, but yeah, this is even more important in Shaymin. Like, you literally cannot do anything without VS Seeker anymore. So, a little unfortunate truth, but that's probably one of the only pricey cards in the deck. So, next up is going to be 3 Ultra Ball. Not really so much 4 because you don't really need it, especially since you're not running any Shaymin whatsoever. Not to mention you have Karina more times than not to get everything you need. So put those aside. And next up going to be 3 copies of Trainer's Mail. Now I almost debated running 4 Trainer's Mail in the deck, but then I find it was just a little bit too much, and more often than not I was just discarding Trainer's Mails that I wasn't using. So I find 3 is a perfectly good balance in the deck. But if you want to run 4 in it, I'm not going to stop you because, again, this is a search-based deck. So 4 Trainer's Mail, if you could find a way to make it work, it could be amazing. But it's just me personally, I didn't find it working too much for. Next up, going to be 3 copies of Battle Compressor. Now, this is a very good card for not just dumping out supporters. You can VS Seeker up later, but discarding your energies, even strong energies in your basics, just so they're not clogging up your deck, because you could always use Carbink to get them all back later. So, very important as well. And as far as tools, this right here is the key tool of any Medicham deck. 3 copies of Focus Sash. Now, in the past, when Medicham was first a thing, a lot of people debated whether or not it was better just to go with the Muscle Band / Silver Bangle way or Focus Sash. Now, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the first one to figure out, but I quickly figured out that Focus Sash was much better, because instead of getting 2 hits that could possibly knock out, it's much better to get 4 practically guaranteed hits that could definitely knock out at least one thing, if not another one. So Focus Sash is definitely one of the key components of the deck, is why it makes it so good. And also I'm running 2 copies of Muscle Band. Now I'm only running 2 is because there's quite a bit of tools in the deck as it is, and I found myself not needing Muscle Band all the time, because a Medicham with a Focus Sash, with all the other fighting boosting damage there is, I'm still hitting EXs for the KO a lot of the time. So this is mainly for Lucario and Carbink, but if I see like the high HP Pokemon such as the Primals, or even one of those annoying Wailord decks, which yes, you can one-shot Wailord with Medicham when set up properly. So to all those, so if you ever face up against an annoying Wailord deck and they're just like, oh, it makes you so mad, this is the deck for you. Set it up right and their Wailords are gonna be going bye-bye. And as far as switching cards go, I run 2 copies of Floatstone and 1 copy of Switch. Because even though we don't have to worry about a SHAYMIN getting caught up in the active, we have to worry about our Regirocks getting caught up in the active, which in a way is worse because with SHAYMIN at least it was just 1 energy to retreat, with Regirock it's 3. But on the upside, Regirock has much more HP, so it could definitely last a turn or 2. If you can't get your switching cards, but yeah, the 2 Floatstones are mainly just for your Regirocks to attach to, so even if they Lysander them up, boom, you just retreat the next turn. And the Switch, again, if you want to run like Escape Rope over Switch, that's perfectly fine. I would just personally prefer Switch in a deck, but that is completely up to you as the trainer. And for my last item card, I run 1 copy of Sacred Ash. I usually run Super Rod, but with Card Bank, I really don't need Super Rod whatsoever. So I figure Sacred Ash is a better way to go to get 5 Pokemon into your deck from the discard. And as far as stadiums go, I only run 2. I run 1 copy of Scorched Earth and 1 copy of Fighting Stadium. Now, this deck really isn't stadium heavy, so I didn't really like put too much into the stadiums, but Scorched Earth is good just for getting you an extra draw or 2. And Fighting Stadium is for the EX decks, which again, they are not very common in this format anymore. So yeah. Now, in the past, people did run Shrine of Memories to take advantage of meta-tight smack when evolved into a Medicham. Here, I'll show you guys that quickly. For those of you who don't know, because it has been quite some time since Medicham was considered a viable thing. So what they would do is have the Meta-Tight evolve into Medicham and have the Shrine of Memories, so they can attack with only 1 energy, and you could use the Omega Barrage to attack twice with that. That's not a bad thing to do, and I did try that out at first. It's just the only thing is with Card Bank, I never once found myself needing to use the Shrine of Memories to attack for smack. But I'm not demoting that whatsoever because it does have the advantage of where it can hit for weakness instead of Yoga Kick where it can't hit for weakness. But that's up to you guys. Again, I'm not saying Shrine of Memories is a bad way to go. It's just I personally never really found myself using it at all. So that's up to you as a trainer to decide, but that was just my personal opinion. And last up is going to be the energies. 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Strong Energy. Obvious reasons, probably one of the best fighting support things we've gotten. And it has been reprinted in Fates Collide, so definitely amazing. Boosting up any of your fighting Pokemon by 20 is just, oh man, amazing. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basic fighting energy. Just standard stuff there. And there you guys have it. Now, this deck actually takes back memories because out of all the decks I played back about a year ago, Medicham was probably one of my favorite ones to play. Just because no one really expected this coming, and just, oh man. I really turned against, especially Night March, guys. Quick thing, Night March cannot touch Medicham, which, if you see a lot of Medicham players, if you see a lot of Night March players in your area, then you definitely will want to pick this deck up, because I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you guys the end seal of guarantee. I will repeat myself, Night March cannot touch Medicham. Mainly because of Focus Sash, but Yoga Kick is getting rid of 2 other Night Marches in 1 turn, and even their Mew now. Just, oh man, this deck beats a lot of top tier meta stuff. And I'm really excited, and hopefully, I'm really hoping people will recognize this and see it's a good deck. But at the same time, that would kind of get rid of some of its power it has. So I'm a little mixed on that. But anyway, enough of me rambling on. This has been it for the Medicham deck profile. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And stick around tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a very big day. Not only going to see the Battle Frontier Friday where I take on Professor K's Zygarde deck, but it's going to be the beginning of our 24-hour stream. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be amazingly big day, so you do not want to miss a second of anything, guys. So this has been End for the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and catch you trainers later.